Let's talk about perceptual positions, right? Mental shifts to gain control in the conflict. So NLP teaches that there's three main perceptual positions you can mentally step into during any interaction. First position, second position, third position. If you guys are writers, or if you have had a language arts class, you might have heard of this as first person, second person, third person, right? Same thing. First position is you from your point of view, right? You experience things from your own perspective, your thoughts, feelings, and justifications. This is where most people operate by default. Okay, makes sense, right? You are you. You see things through your lens, through your point of view, your value system. Okay, but there's another position too, her position, right? If you can take a minute and step into her shoes for a minute, experience the moment from her emotional state and worldview, you might understand where she's coming from, right? This is where empathy falls into place, learning to be a little more empathetic. I love how Paul Benjamin refers to it as tactical empathy. If you're doing this in a place to better lead your relationship and be more strategic in your relationship, this is tactical, right? Men are pretty good at this. If you think about it, our experiences over our history of warfare, you have to, if you're going to like think of the art of war, right? If you can understand your enemy and what your enemy is thinking before they do it, you can outwit them, right? Same thing in your relationship. If you're going to have a discussion with your wife or your girlfriend and you could put yourself in her shoes and how she's going to think about things and react to things, right? You can be a little more strategic about it, right? So the second position's her. Third position would be an observer, a third party observer, someone else in the room watching you two argue. So you can mentally, we have this magic ability to mentally look at a situation from a third party observer. We can actually imagine what that's like. It actually, we call that also in NLP dissociation. So you could dissociate yourself mentally from the argument itself and see how other people might be seeing this interaction, right? So you mentally step out the situation, like a coach or a therapist watching the scene unfold. You observe both people objectively without emotional bias. Okay. So you try to look at the situation, not like taking sides with yourself, taking sides with her or whatever, just a third party objective viewer and how that situation's playing out. Okay. So how do you use it? Well, during a heated moment, you can mentally pause, especially if you're finding yourself getting up in your feelings, right? You can mentally pause and shift into that third party perspective. Right. And it's pretty fast. Our minds operate pretty quickly. Okay. So it's okay. Take a moment and try to think of how this interaction is playing out as if someone else is watching. Right. And then ask yourself, if I were coaching someone else through this argument, what would I say? Right. What's really going on emotionally here? This gives you distance from your ego and helps you de-escalate, lets you reframe the situation with clarity and authority. You understand? 9 times out of 10, you are getting dragged into a situation and you are emotionally reacting and you are operating on instinct at that point. You don't have strong mental frame if that's happening. So this is something you have to work on. You have to work on. So these are some tools that will help you get there. Okay. And then we can anchor in positive states. Okay. What's anchoring? Anchoring is cool. Like think of, you guys ever heard of Pavlov's dog? Pavlov's dog? Pavlov, he trained a dog, right? Every time he fed it a steak, he would ring a bell. He would ring a bell. And the dog got to a place where it associated the bell ringing with the steak. And so then it got to a point where he would just ring a bell and the dog's mouth would start drooling all by itself, right? Because the dog's mind was immediately drawn to steak. So the ringing of the bell made the dog think of steak, caused his mouth to water, right? Same thing happens to people. We call this an anchor, right? So if you are ever in a place where you're having a good time with your wife, she's laughing at your jokes, she's loving the interaction with you, you can touch her arm in a certain place, right? Touch her arm in a certain place every time she does, something right. She's super happy. You want to anchor that emotional point. You touch her arm or you say a specific phrase, right? Supercalifragilistic. I don't know. That just came to mind. My coach Nikki says supercalifragilistically awesome all the time, and it's funny. But you could say a specific word or phrase when she's in that moment. After a while, she's going to subconsciously associate that action, touching her arm or whatever that phrase is. And then anytime you're in an argument or whatever, you can throw that phrase out there, and she's going to subconsciously get back into the happy state. Do you see how this might be dark NLP manipulation, persuasion? But if you need her to calm down quick, right? Telling her to calm down won't work, right? But getting her to snap out of it through a planted anchor, that could do it. That could do it. Paul, that's manipulative. Like, look, do you want a peaceful household or not? Oh man, just manipulation. You're teaching them manipulation, maybe a little bit. Hey, guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. I'm even on TikTok. Hey, what's up, TikTok? Head on over to my YouTube channel. I'm live over there right now. If you guys have comments, we can bring it up on the screen. But I'm on all the good platforms. Follow me on all of those. And then, guys, get on the email list, list.comeonmanpod.com. I'll send you a bunch of free stuff. You can get my ebook, She's Made You Weak. There's a bunch of other free stuff in there. There's a free chapter of my first book, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18. There's for you guys that are out in the dating circuit, there's 20 dating app openers for you guys. And then I just recently added the first 3 chapters of my book, Get Her to Fuck You Again. So if you've been thinking about reading that book, get on the email list. You can get that for free. Go to list.comeonmanpod.com. Hey, look, if you don't want stickers, that's fine. Just put don't want stickers in the address field. I don't want to waste a stamp on you. I just went through and went through my list and mailed out stickers yesterday. And I was looking at people's addresses, and I started just grabbing their address and throwing it in ChatGPT saying, hey, is this a legit address? And if it said, no, this doesn't look like a real address, I'm not wasting a fucking stamp on you. Okay. So don't put a fake address in there. Just put don't want stickers. All right. It's okay. I'm not trying to show up at your house. All right. And then, guys, so we're talking about frame. My book on frame is actually my second book, which is called The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm. It's part of the Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence series that RP Thor created. AJ Matthews just dropped a new book, and it's all about his story on becoming the Viking detailer. It's pretty good. And he just dropped that yesterday. Check that out. Do a search on Amazon for The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence and get all the books in this series. Except for that bastard Glenn Lawrence, because his book is not canon as far as I'm concerned. You're like, Paul, fuck you, man. Let me play a commercial for Psychology Paradigm. We'll get back to the topic today.
Have you ever felt like something's holding you back in your relationships? Like you're always on the back foot, struggling to connect with women? You're not alone. Many men are taught to be weak, to defer, to play small around women by their upbringing, by society, by the very world that shaped them. But what if you could break free from the invisible chains that have held you back? What if you could rewrite the script, reprogram the paradigm that's been running your life? This is your chance to step into the man you were always meant to be. In The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence, Psychology Paradigm by Paul Bauer, the first book in RP Thor's groundbreaking series, you'll learn how to understand and transform the paradigms that have shaped your life. You'll discover how to develop a dominant masculine presence, one that commands respect, inspires trust, and brings fulfillment to your relationships. Don't wait for life to change on its own. Take control. Order your copy of The Essential Skills of a Masculine Presence Psychology Paradigm now on Amazon. Available in hardcover, paperback, or on Kindle. This is more than a book. It's your roadmap to a life of purpose, strength, and success. Make the decision today. Reprogram your life and step into the man you were meant to be.
All right. Yes. Step into the man you were meant to be. Let's talk about NLP techniques to shift the power dynamic. One thing you can do is matching and mirroring. So there's a saying in NLP, which is people like people who are like themselves. People like people who are like themselves. So this is something you can actually do on the dating circuit if you're not in a relationship. But this builds rapport with people, right? But if you match her body language, her breathing pace, her tone slightly, it builds unconscious rapport and safety. It makes them feel comfortable in the situation, right? It has to be pretty subtle, right? So if she crosses her arms like this, you wait a couple of seconds and then you cross your arms like that, right? If she leans over to the left and does this with her finger or whatever, you wait a couple of minutes, and you might do it with your right hand, right? But lean over and put your hand there, right? It's almost like a monkey see, monkey do type thing, right? But you're going to start matching her body language. That's going to subconsciously make her feel more comfortable in the interaction. You could also do some pacing and leading, right? So you want to align first. Okay, you can do some of that matching and mirroring. You could do the matching and mirroring with her, her tone as well. Also with her emotional state, acknowledge her emotions and stuff like that. But then you want to direct that energy in a certain way, right? So pacing and leading, it's foundational NLP for influence. It means you start by meeting her emotional or mental state. That's pacing. So if she's talking rapidly, you start talking rapidly. If she's talking more slowly, you talk more slowly. Okay. Then you lead her towards the state or outcome you want her in without resistance. Because once you're in the place where she's at, she's going to feel comfortable with it. And now you can change the pace and the tone and lead it in a certain direction, right? So when you pace someone, they feel understood and validated. This drops their defenses.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.